Everton and Liverpool, and some college hoops for tonight. Miami and North Carolina, big Monday. Carmine Bianco is going to close out the show. He's got an NHL opinion. The Red Wings and the Canucks.
Teddy, hold on. Go ahead, Teddy. Sorry.
And he'll close us out with some talk about the Champions League knockout stage. We're going to talk some Chelsea versus Dortmund. So we've got some soccer, we've got some NBA, we've got some college hoops. But Prez, why don't you tell us how you did yesterday?
Oh, well, thank you for asking. I'm not going to discuss how I did, Teddy. I mean, I gave out 10 Super Bowl props. You guys can figure out how I did. It was an incredible day for me, brother. Why are you shaking your head, man?
Did you give out 10? Did you have the side? I thought you had side total as well. The 10 and 0 is the side. That's all props?
All props. I posted my entire card up on Twitter. Listen, I had team total over in the first half of Kansas City and the team total over in the first half for Philadelphia. I don't know if you technically call that a prop bet, but I did not release a side or total on the game. It was all props. And two of them, Teddy, one was a plus 400 and one was a plus 330. I had a monster. One of my clients sent me this shirt overnight. His name was Prez. But anyway, Prez is a good guy, dude. He's a good dude.
First, congrats on a monster day. My clients and I were able to cash the big ticket with Kansas City, a sweat and a half. Prop-wise, I basically split out. I lost a little bit of juice on that, and it could have been worse. I had second quarter and fourth quarter to be higher scoring in the first quarter. When they got the 2 touchdowns in the first quarter, I'm like, oh, this is not good. I ended up cashing both second and fourth quarter higher scoring thanks to that missed field goal. So, I mean, so it was two-way action on game day. It closed Philly -1, -1.5. We did see some late over money, and obviously all the over money cashed. They had another William Hill outage in Nevada. It's like an annual Super Bowl thing, 4 hours or plus. People are going crazy against William Hill here in Nevada. And it was a great game, back and forth. Neither team scored 3 consecutive times. The game was tied and multiple lead changes. I mean, it really was a thrilling Super Bowl. And it was a terrible ending. I mean, let's be honest. I didn't mind with the bet on KC, but considering and I didn't mind not sweating out that last minute. With KC just, running the clock down. It was great for my bet. But that might have been the best Super Bowl ever. We had an exciting last 2 minutes, and we didn't.
Yeah, and you know what? It was a shame about that holding call, but, the gentleman who made that holding call did come out and say that he held. I thought it was
sure.
Which, by the way, is really impressive to do because he really took ownership of it and kind of let that ref off the hook. I thought it was a ticky-tack call. I didn't think it was holding myself. I thought it really ruined what could have been a monster, epic ending. But by that point, Teddy, I was already 10-0. I didn't even care. I was like, I don't give a shit.
Was it a flag? Was it a phantom flag? The issue wasn't that it was a penalty, because it was. Bradbury even said it was. The issue was that they hadn't been calling those all game, and then they called that one as the most important part of the game, and that was the issue. Was it a flag? Was it a phantom flag? By the letter of the law, you can probably call a penalty on any NFL play, and certainly you could on that one. But it was different from how the game had been ref prior. Again, with the ticket on KC, I love that finish. Could have been better. And here's one other thing. Last thing about the Super Bowl, just to put it to bed. And obviously, if you want more Super Bowl discussion, stay tuned right here on WagerTalk TV. The opening line report, Drew Martin and myself, at the top of the hour, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern. We're going to break down all these props and what happened, take a look at next year's openers and all that kind of stuff. It'll be a lot of fun for there. But the last thing I want to say, Patrick Mahomes won it. I thought Jalen Hurts was the MVP, whether Philly won or lost. He was the best player on the field in that ballgame.
Oh, without a doubt, Teddy. And really just one mistake from Jalen Hurts. And it ended up being a big mistake, but they should have been able to come back from it. They did go into the half up by 10. I don't consider that mistake what cost them the game, but Jalen Hurts was sensational. And the Philly fan base should be extremely excited about what they have over the next 10, 15 years.
That said, the Philadelphia defense, no sacks, no fumbles forced, no interceptions forced. Philly's defense was the weak link
Yep.
when it mattered most. And if you read my write-up, that's kind of what I suspected. That's why
Teddy,
we were large on Kansas City.
How about the Philly coach bawling his eyes out on the sidelines? I don't think I've ever seen that before in my life, and I was moved. I mean, I was moved enough to go 10-0. It was moving, Teddy.
Like your bowels. Let's bring in Marco.
Marco D'Angelo, my brother. How are you, my friend?
Prez, how'd you do yesterday?
Thank you for asking. 10-0.
Okay.
No, but in all seriousness, Marco, you guys started the show, but before we came on, you're like, don't gloat so much. Some people lost, and nobody else went 10-0. Marco, I think I did the best in the world yesterday. I think out of any bettor or handicapper, I was the Olympic gold medalist of the Super Bowl. And frankly, I'm going to gloat about that. It's not like I went 9-1. Amateur hour. I went 10-0. Thank you for asking. Marco D'Angelo, how are you doing? You have been on a monster freaking run, bro. I mean, ridiculous stuff day in, day out.
Appreciate that, Prez. I just wanted to add one last thing to the Super Bowl. And Teddy, I thought that's where you were going to go at the end there when you said one more thing you want to point. Let's not forget, we see players do bonehead things all the time. But whenever a football player makes a smart play, a team play, and not for his own glory, Jerick McKinnon going down at the one, having the sense to go down at the one when they clearly were letting him walk into the end zone. Who doesn't want to score a touchdown in the Super Bowl? You know what I mean? But that was the only way they lose that game is to score the touchdown there. That's the only way they're going to lose the game, have an opportunity to give them the ball back with 2 minutes. And that's kind of lost by a lot of people of what he did there. And shout out to him, because it would have been tough. I just saw the end zone, knowing it's the right thing. I might have wanted that Super Bowl touchdown. You don't get too many opportunities for Super Bowl touchdowns. And he went down at the one. Smart play. But,
and of course,
go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, McKinnon over 2.5 receptions. Rob Vino gave that out to us right here on WagerTalk Today last week. You got that third reception, you're like, you never touched the ball again until the end of the game. When he and it looked like he might have gone out of bounds on that play. That was a really heady play for McKinnon, no question. It felt like that play was in slow motion.
For sure. Well, if you looked at the Philly defense, it definitely was in slow motion. And then he was smart enough to realize, oh, wait, nobody's tackling me.
Yeah, it was.
But it was a good game.
Yeah, no, it was amazing. 2 huge defensive breakdowns, though, by Philly. And Teddy, you pointed out the defense was weak on Philly. Both touchdowns in the red zone. Nobody anywhere close to the wide receivers. Jerick McKinnon, is that him? I mean, yes, obviously it's him, and heads up play by him. But Andy Reid has obviously got this team dialed in. Either one of you?
No question. I mean, that was one of the concerns. I was on Philly, full disclosure. I had Philly for the game, and I had a few props. But it was a coin flip game, and, 2 big plays. Obviously the fumble return for a touchdown. And let's not forget the 69-yard, punt return. Those are, 2 mammoth plays that, decided the game in essence. And, of course, the holding call. But give them credit. My 2 concerns were there was a difference in coaching. Andy Reid, he's been there, done that. You got to coach in a situation that he hasn't been before. And then Jalen Hurts, you didn't know how he would perform if he fell behind. But, he answered all of that. I mean, as Teddy said, he very well could have been the MVP, but it's winning teams going to get it, 95% of the time. But yes, he played an incredible game yesterday. And I walked away with more respect for Jalen Hurts with the Super Bowl loss than I had going in. How's that?
Couldn't agree with you more. Marco, let's get into some actionable information for Monday, February 13th. I hope you guys have some good stuff planned for tomorrow, Valentine's Day. Marco, Dallas, Minnesota. Luka's back. He's playing with Kyrie. There seemed to be a lot more space in their game a few nights ago. Now they're -7.5. The total is 232.5. How do we bet this one, my friend?
Well, for me, we got a couple things in play here. Obviously, at the trade deadline, Dallas was one of the major players getting Kyrie Irving. Everybody that's there's the other piece they need. But as we know, these teams, when you make wholesale, moves, you bring in a big name, it's not instant gratification. And everybody's got to adjust to their new roles. And you're going to be paying a price at the windows because the public perception market is going to drive the line up on the team that made the move. And one of my favorite angles is fading a team returning home on that first game back after the road trip. And Dallas was on, a 5-game road trip. That was a crucial road trip for them. They finished it up with playing one of those back-to-back in the same city, which I'm not a big fan of. They played 2 in a row in Sacramento, won the first one, lost the second one, in a shootout. This is one of those spots where I'm taking the road team plus the points here. And we got a couple stats favoring going against Dallas. Dallas is a favorite this year of 3.5 to 9.5 points, which is right in the zone of where we are today. They're just 6-16 against the spread. In Dallas, they've been a team that success hasn't been good for them when they've won 4 or more of a 6-game stretch. In the next game, they're just 4-13 against the spread this year. And as I said at the top, I think the line's a little bit inflated because of the market's public perception of the Dallas Mavericks right now. I'll go ahead and take Minnesota plus the points here. I think this is a 1 to 3 point game tonight. Either way, give me the dog.
So I'm with you conceptually on much of this, Marco. But it feels like every person I've talked to is like, Dallas didn't get that much better. Dallas didn't Kyrie, Luka, lots of. When you read the quotes and when you visualize these two guys on the floor together, I think Dallas improved themselves as much as any team in the West. They have a second star. Mm-hmm. And this is a problem for a team like Minnesota that didn't get better at the trading deadline. A team like Minnesota that has now lost the rebounding battle in 6 games in a row, despite the fact they're supposed to be dominating the low post. And a Minnesota team that has really let go of the rope on the defensive end in many of their recent losses. Their defense has been, Olay defense, many, many games of late. Does that concern you?
That's always a concern, defense, but I'll point out the same thing. Offensively, I agree with you 100%. The Dallas Mavericks improved tremendously. I don't see this translating on the defensive side for Dallas. I'm not a big fan of Kyrie Irving. I think that he's been somewhat of a cancer, basically where he's gone, coexisting with other players. This is a spot where you look at Dallas, 4 of the last 6 games, Teddy, they've allowed over 50% shooting themselves. And granted, Minnesota's no bargain defensively, but they're not the ones laying the points. I don't like laying points with soft defenses, and you can't call Dallas a good defense either. So we'll see how it plays out. But offensively, they improve. We'll see what happens on the defensive side.
What happened to Lawrence? Lawrence muted again.
I'm not muted anymore. I muted me because I was talking to myself.
I wanted to mute you.
Thanks, but yeah, well, you can mute me anytime. Shout out to Roger Long. He said he went 17-1 yesterday in the Super Bowl. Way to go, Roger. Outstanding work. As well, one of our listeners, I think Robert S., wrote that Prez is starting to become pompous. Robert, have you not watched this show before? I was born pompous. They literally wrote the word for me. So I would appreciate facts. I'm not about to get pompous. I am pompous. Marco D, let's get on to your next game, my brother. Let's go. I got so many notes here. It's ridiculous. Western Virginia at Baylor, WVU plus 6.5. What are we doing here?
Western Virginia.
West
Okay.
Virginia. Yes, West Virginia. Yes.
Oh, Prez. We're looking
Oh,
at this one. And
Marco.
this is not going to be a popular play with most people that are going to look at this. They're going to look at West Virginia on Saturday. They're going to see a team that got absolutely steamrolled, 94-60. They're going to want no part of West Virginia. But for me, I am looking at them in this spot because I'm wanting to go against Baylor, and I want to take West Virginia off an embarrassing loss. First of all, Baylor, you know the show I do with Kelly and Joe, Bet on it. I always have a segment, sandwich game of the week. This would fit the sandwich game of the week spot going against Baylor here. They're coming off a win on Saturday on the road. It was a revenge game against TCU. They had lost earlier in the season at home to TCU, went on the road and got their revenge. Now they're playing a West Virginia team that they already beat on the road. They look and see what West Virginia did on Saturday. They lost by 34 points. And oh, what does Baylor have on deck? They've got Kansas on deck. You couldn't get a better sandwich spot, in my opinion. Nobody's going to want West Virginia tonight. I think we're getting a little bit of line value based on Saturday's play. And I always say nobody's as good as their worst game, or are they as bad as their worst game or as good as their best game. We saw the worst out of West Virginia on Saturday. I'm going to take them tonight to keep this one close. And it's another spot where revenge, I always say it's overused, but one of the angles I do like is a road dog in revenge that already lost at home to the team. You're getting value with them. The home team will have a tendency to look past you because they already beat you on the road. Give me West Virginia plus the points. This one's going to be closer than people think.
Marco D'Angelo says, no team's ever as bad as they look on their worst days. No team ever as good as they look on their best days. Marco, you look pretty good today. What do you got going over at WagerTalk.com? There's a segue for you.
There you go. Well, as I usually do on Mondays, because some of the plays I give out here on the show ends up making my card, I give you an all access on Monday for $9. Head over to WagerTalk. You'll get everything I have today. I'll be adding plays throughout the day. I already have one in that package right now that's not one of the two I just said, but one of these two that I gave on the show is going to make my card tonight. You'll get everything for $9. It's been a nice run the last 30 days, but hey, it ain't no 10-0. Let me tell you that.
Hey, Marco, that 10-0 ain't no 25-0, and that's the record. You own it. Now get out of here, my brother. Thanks for joining us on Wager Talk today. Teddy, we got Bryan Powers coming up soon. But before we get into that, every 3 or 4 months, you and I do an odd couple promo, and we have one going today. It expires on midnight on Tuesday. Guys, this is an unbelievable offer. Basically, it's a buy one, get one free. It is the odd couple promotion. Teddy is up a hair under 30 units of profit this NBA season. I'm up a hair over 60 units of profit. That's 91 units of profit. If you guys have been betting, both Teddy and I, in the NBA this year, and you're a $100 better, you would be up close to $10,000 already this year. This is a promo that doesn't have a coupon code. You go over to Teddy's page or my page. Down on the right, you will see the odd couple promo. You get 7 days of both our NBA plays for only $69. And Teddy, I know the All-Star break is right in front of us. This will extend past the All-Star break. So if the days that there are no NBA, it doesn't count. 7 days, both Teddy and I in NBA, only $69. The odd couple promotion ends on Tuesday at midnight. My brother, anything to add?
Yeah, I'm number one all basketball handicapper at WagerTalk and Sports member over the last full calendar year. And I think are you number one this year?
Yes.
If not,
Yes,
you're pretty darn close. So yeah,
number one
both of
in
us.
NBA and number one in college and basketball combined. I think I'm number 3 in college hoops.
Yeah, so with both of us proven we're in pretty good form. Great offer.
Yeah.
Again, $69 to get Lawrence and I full week NBA action. What's the promo code, Lawrence? No
promo code required.
Just go to the
brother.
website and buy. It's a BOGO deal. Take advantage.
You know what? You know what Bryan Powers has that we don't? Really
Singular.
good freaking hair. Bryan Powers, everyone. How are you, my brother?
Percent on Kansas City last night. That's 9 less winners than
Nice.
you, Prez, but I'm still feeling pretty good about it nonetheless. Wasn't feeling so good at halftime, but I remembered a few weeks ago I was on the show. Night before I had a 5% play. It was Texas Tech. They were down 23 with less than 10 minutes to go. I said, boy, is this going to be a fun show tomorrow when I got to go on doing this. They come back and win. Kansas City comes back and wins. So I guess I have the odd couple mojo to thank here always the night before I come on the program.
Well, listen, we love having you on, dude, and listen, the chat room loves you as well. So we're privileged to have you with us. Let's get straight into it. I don't know if you guys know, but Bryan Power bets on the beautiful sport, soccer, and you've got a play for us on Everton versus Liverpool. What might it be?
Yes, this would probably be a good time, Prez, to mention that I am now a regular on the Stoppage Time show, which of course airs here on WagerTalk TV, 10 o'clock a.m., Tuesday and Thursday, a show that is, of course, under the incredible stewardship of your next guest. And this is one that Carmine and I disagree on, I believe, but I am sticking to my guns here. And we're going to look at both teams to score prop here with Everton and Liverpool. Now, last week, I was wrong when I said it was time to buy low on Liverpool. Just a total lie. They lose 3-0 to Wolves, but it was the right time to buy low on Everton. They get the new manager bounce, defeat Arsenal 1-0, the always tricky early Saturday time slot. You look at those respective results from an XG perspective, they were deserved victories, although I will point out Everton did get dominated in terms of time of possession, and then Liverpool, they had a lot more shots on goal, but they still lose. Everton, I still think they have a good shot at being relegated. I know a lot of people think they're a good bet to avoid that. They're probably the second worst team in the league, still ahead of Bournemouth, at least according to several metrics. But Liverpool, they're just a mid-table side this year, gang. According to the metrics, nothing more, nothing less. So I want no part of either side in this fixture. I know the previous time these teams played, it was a goalless draw, but I do not see Liverpool getting blanked again in back-to-back matches. They are third in expected goals, behind only Arsenal and Man City. Those are the top two teams in the league. And I hate the word momentum, but I will use it anyway. Everton has it off the win last week. I think they should score here as well. Both sides, bottom 4 in the Premier League in expected goals allowed. Take the both teams to score prop in this Monday afternoon fixture.
Both teams to score in EPL action today. Let's take a look at some college basketball action. Big Monday, the Miami Hurricanes travel up to face North Carolina. North Carolina has been a money burner this year, but they are coming off a big 20-point win over Clemson in their last outing. This is as good as I've seen them play in weeks. Was that just Clemson stinking up the joint, or is there maybe a buy sign on the Tar Heels right now? Certainly Miami has been the vastly superior point spread team this season, but they're underdogs today. Right now, look at the WagerTalk live odds screen. North Carolina, the money burners, well, they're taking money up to -5.5 at most books. Total, the overs taking money. I'm seeing 155.5, the prevailing number right now. What do we do? Tar Heels and Hurricanes.
Well, Teddy, I think you know what I'm going to do here based on the way I bet these kind of games. This is our latest instance of an unranked home team being favored against a top 25 opponent. The situation has seen the unranked team go 26-12 against the number this year. That's 68%. So I was not surprised at all to see the early money come on North Carolina. Looks like the sharp side tonight on Big Monday. I have the Tar Heels rated higher in my own power ratings. So that number 19 next to Miami's name doesn't carry much water for me. Matter of fact, Miami, when the new rankings come out in a few hours, they're going to be even higher. you assume. They won twice last week, once in impressive fashion. They beat Duke by a lot, 81-59. Then they beat Louisville, a sorry Louisville team, over the weekend, 93-85, closer than expected. But I think the key here when looking at those two wins, Teddy, is both of those were where? Coral Gables, where Miami is 14-0 this season. Now they hit the road. They're 125th in the country in defensive efficiency. I think that could come back and bite them. This is a team that gave up 103 in regulation to Cornell earlier in the year. I bet against Miami in that game. I bet against them when they were at Georgia Tech, when cashed both those tickets. North Carolina can score 81.2 points per game in Chapel Hill. You mentioned the big win over Clemson. Clemson is another team like Miami. Teddy, I believe you and I have had a previous conversation. Miami and Clemson were two ACC teams that I said were overrated. Clemson more so than Miami. But again, not surprised North Carolina's favored in this spot. It's a big revenge game from last year. They got housed in Coral Gables. UNC's on the bubble. Going into the weekend, they were one of the dreaded last four in, according to Joe Lunardi. I think North Carolina, who has a big rebounding edge in this matchup, wins going away. May not be by 20 like over Clemson, but they will cover this number.
Bryan Power, everybody. Bryan, again, congrats on your 5% on Kansas City. 9-1 in your last 10 5% plays. Outstanding. Have not lost a 5% play in hoops this year. What do you got to promote on $9 Mondays?
Well, yep. Obviously, guys, football season may be over, but lots of basketball going on. You can, of course, jump on board. February, just $9 the rest of the day. And speaking of $9, I have two college hoops best bets. You can get the pair for just $9 at my page right now. I think, looking at the watch, you just missed out on the soccer play for this afternoon, but hopefully that'll be a winner and lead us into a 2-0 night in college hoops.
Brilliant stuff. Bryan Power, everyone. Teddy, we only have 68 likes. We got 380 people live watching right this second. If you guys want a daily presidential address, please get us to 100 likes. And also, one of the customers is not loving on my beard. I'm not loving on it either, bro, but it ain't coming off until the run is done. And that's just the way it's going to work. So I'm really hoping to have a Santa Claus beard in about 3 months from now. Theodore, quick commercial break. My brother Carmine joining us afterwards, and hopefully we'll have the daily presidential address.
Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at both WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, when all daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including 5% best bets, normally priced at $35. As an added bonus, any picks packages loaded early for Overnight Tuesday or action during the week will also be priced at $9 until midnight on Monday. So make sure to take advantage of getting these $25 and $35 picks for only $9 before the clock strikes 12 and they return to regular price.
It is time for today's big game breakdown. Let's talk some NBA for Monday night, the day after the Super Bowl. We'll look at the Lakers and the Blazers. Right now, look at the WagerTalk live on screen. We've seen a bunch of money come in on LA. Portland, still a 1-point favorite. Let's call it total 237.5. There are some 238s, 238.5 half out there. And you can find the Lakers as high as +2 right now if you shop around. This line is likely to bounce around between now and tip-off. And the recommendation I'm giving you right here, we're going to look at the Lakers plus the points. It's not a bet I'm making right now. I'm going to wait until later in the day. I'm pretty sure LeBron's not going to play. I'm pretty sure this line's going to go up. And I'm comfortable taking the Lakers without LeBron or with LeBron. But I'm comfortable taking without him in this game. Look, LeBron didn't play at Golden State the other night. Anthony Davis was 5 of 19 from the field. The Lakers won straight up as an underdog. This is a very different team right now than the one pre-trade deadline. Sneaky good, way better than they were. And the market's kind of yawned at what LA did. Look, Rui Hachimura, difference maker. Malik Beasley, good at. Beasley went 0 for 6. Lakers only hit 8 3-pointers in that game and still beat the Warriors in that contest. I'm telling you, Jared Vanderbilt, big addition for LA. And he's one of the only guys that got signed for next year. Portland's not playing good ball. They've lost 3 of their last 4. They've lost 16 of the last 26. They've got injuries everywhere. Jeremy Grant, the latest guy to go down, impact injury, doesn't move the point spread. Impact injury guy. They're still playing without Nurkic in the low post. Lakers have had their fair share of problems up in Portland over the years. It has not been one of their better venues. I think they win this game tonight. Give me LA plus the points, and there's no urgency to bet this. I do think we will see some Blazers money between now and tip-off. And if we don't, then you get the number that you currently get. Give me LA Lake Show on Monday night. There's your big game breakdown. Back to you, Mr. Prez.
Thank you, Teddy. Guys, it's $9 Mondays over at WagerTalk and Sports Memo. Bottom line, anybody's package of plays, only $9. I have a big NHL total tonight. I also have 4 college basketball plays. They are separated, so it's $9 per sport. Teddy, what do you got going for the clients?
I've got a pair up in the NBA as well as I put up a free play on the Lakers that we just talked about. So you can get those plays over at Sports Memo or WagerTalk.com. Only $9.
Carmine Bianco joining us. One of the best human beings you'll ever meet in your life. Man I love dearly. How are you, my friend? What's going on?
Doing good. Fun weekend or fun Sunday watching that football game, great football game. And now the focus shifts over to NHL with football over. So I'm looking forward to NHL and Champions League, a couple plays that we're going to talk about on today's show. Great run by you, by the way. Congratulations.
Thanks, brother.
And you posted you posted that skiing video and tagged me in it. That was pretty impressive as well, too. I think more impressive was that you actually found a helmet that fits that inflated head of yours. But with that said, it was still a very good skiing one.
It was custom made, that helmet. Well said. The neck warmer was the bigger problem. Carm, let's turn our attention to hockey. As we discussed, Detroit is playing Vancouver tonight. I like this game as well. I'm so curious how you're betting it. The total is 6.5. The Canucks are anywhere from minus 115 to minus 125. How do we bet this game?
Yeah, there hasn't been a lot of market movement on this game, unlike a couple of the other ones that are on tonight's card. But this is one of those ones that they just played in Detroit at Little Caesars on, I think it was a Saturday matinee game that Detroit won 5-2. And normally, if two teams are playing back-to-back games against each other, I like taking the team that lost in the first game and playing them in the second game, which would lean me to right now to Vancouver. But I'm not going to do that. I actually think the total is the better play here. Vancouver, if you've looked at Vancouver's games over the last 2 months or so, even their last 15 games, when this team wins, they're scoring a lot of goals, and conversely, when they lose, they're allowing bucketfuls of goals. So they're 15 games, they've gone over the total in 13 of their last 15 games. It's such a big number. And then you factor in Detroit on the road, doesn't play well. I think they're 3-9. I think their last 12 road games. And Spencer Martin, because there's goaltending issues in Vancouver. Thatcher Demko isn't ready to return yet. And then even when he does, there are rumors that he'll play 3 to 4 games, make sure he's okay. And trade could be in the works with the Pittsburgh Penguins, who have goaltending issues of their own. But right now it's Spencer Martin in goal, and he gets lit up as well, too. He's last 15 games, if you bet the over when Spencer Martin is in goal, you've gone 11-1-3. So everything's leading me to the over here. I just don't see how these two teams can play any semblance of defense at the moment. So over 6.5 for me.
Look for the Red Wings and the Canucks to go over the total 6.5 in most locations as we speak. Carmine, let's talk some Champions League knockout stages. Dortmund in the plus 140 range, the draw in the plus 240 range, Chelsea in the plus 200 range. It's a round of 16, and Chelsea's not playing real well right now. They're struggling. They travel to Germany, take on Dortmund, who are a perfect 5-0 in the new year. What do we do with this one? Wednesday action in the Champions League.
Yeah, listen, I'm excited. Champions League kicks off. This is the knockout stages. Now it's, as you said, the round of 16. So each of the pairings will play a home and away game. And you look at this one, and the prices across the board are even on these teams. But the price to advance, which is the team that will advance to the quarterfinal stages, Chelsea's favored at minus 115, and you're never going to get me to go to the window and bet Chelsea minus 115 to advance. And that's mainly because I get the price. Premier League teams always get the respect, and rightfully so. It is the best league in the world as far as domestic leagues go. But this Chelsea team is not playing well at the moment. A new owner made the switch, got rid of Thomas Tuchel as their manager, who led them to a Champions League title 2 years ago, and brought in Graham Potter, who isn't an offensive-minded coach. And this team has only won 2 of 13 games with him as the manager, and people are calling for his head. And that could happen if they get knocked out of this Champions League. Dortmund, as you mentioned, it's actually I had put 5-0, but it's actually 6-0 since the start of the new year in competitive matches, both the German Cup and in the Bundesliga. They're now third, only about 3 points behind Bayern Munich for top spot in the Bundesliga, and they're playing very well because they've gotten healthy. They're getting their players back at the right time. I think that over 2 games that they're going to knock off Chelsea, advance to the knockout stages. But as far as this game goes, the two-way handicap is a pick'em minus 130. I think it's a better it's the better play to take in this game as opposed to taking Dortmund to win the game outright. And the reason for that is if the game ends in a draw, they don't play extra time. They just play the second game, which will be played at Stamford Park in London. This pick'em gives you the insurance, Teddy, of a draw as a push. And essentially, you can sprinkle a little bit on the money line. I think Dortmund's the right play here, but taking them on the pick'em on the two-way betting line is the better play here. You get the insurance of a draw and a push, just in case teams don't want to lose. You'll never win a two-legged tie in the first leg, but you can lose it in the first leg. So teams are a lot more cautious in that first game, and I see that happening in this one.
Carmine Bianco joining us. Carm, what do you have to promote on $9 Mondays?
A couple soccer plays. They go off at 2:45 and 3 p.m. today on $9 Mondays at WagerTalk, and 3 NHL games on the card for tonight. It's a card I really do like, so hopefully we can have a very good day today.
Excellent stuff. Carmine Bianco, everyone. Teddy, we're well over 100 likes, my brother. Joe, cue up the daily presidential address. All right, everybody. As you can see by my shirt, I had a 10-0 Super Bowl day yesterday. One of the best betting days of my life. Thank you to everyone who jumped on board. I got 3 NHL bets for you guys coming up in this video. But before I get into that, I want to discuss the Odd Couple promotion. Every 3 or 4 months, WagerTalk does an Odd Couple promotion where you get Teddy and I buy one, get one free. We have an outstanding offer that you guys really, really, really need to take advantage of. $69 for 7 days of both Teddy and my NBA. There is no coupon code required. All you have to do is head over to either Teddy's page or my page, and on the right side, you will see the promotion. To give you perspective, Teddy's the #1 hoops expert in the last 12 months of betting. I'm the #1 hoops expert this season. Teddy's up 30 units of 29 units of profit in the NBA. I'm up 62 units of profit in the NBA. If you're $100 better, you're up close to $10,000 playing Teddy and I. Take advantage of that offer. Buy one, get one free. $69 for 7 days for both our NBA plays. Now, what are we going to be betting tonight, guys? I like Florida and Minnesota over the total of 6.5 tonight. I believe if you take Florida over the total from here on out, you should be up money. This team is a stone cold over, and it's only going to get better for them. I do like the Vancouver Canucks tonight on the money line at -118. And I like the Kings and Buffalo to go over the total of 6.5 as well. I do have a 4% total bet for my clients over at WagerTalk. It's only $9. Teddy, today was fun. I'm here all week. Hope to see you guys throughout the week. My brother, take us home.
We'll be here all week on Wager Talk Today, each and every weekday, 9 a.m. here on the left coast, noon for you back east. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it, and we'll be here throughout the spring and summer. Just because football is over and the Super Bowl is over, just because Super Bowl is over doesn't mean football is over, or basketball, or any of the other sports that we cover here on Wager Talk Today. So please stay tuned each and every weekday. Enjoy the games tonight, and best of luck with all of your wagers.
Each and every Monday is $9 Monday at both WagerTalk.com and SportsMemo.com, when all daily picks packages are priced at only $9, including 5% best bets, normally priced at $35. As an added bonus, any picks packages loaded early for Overnight Tuesday or action during the week will also be priced at $9 until midnight on Monday. So make sure to take advantage of getting these $25 and $35 picks for only $9 before the clock strikes 12 and they return to regular price.